Good morning, students. Today now I am going to explain you how to protect our backup files. You see, so we know that some important files are that if you are not protecting with password or not backupping, then some hackers or crackers should be stealing your important files. So there are some suggestions how to protect our backup file. Number one, backup file should be protected with a password. So whenever we need to protect our file, we have to protect it with giving some password. Second, they should be placed on some other computer. Don't keep your same duplicate file in the same computer, because if the computer is stolen, trapped, or the hardware damaged, then your backup file will also damage. So they should be placed on some other computer apart from the computer that you have to keep the original file. That means do not keep your original file, duplicate file, or backup file in the same computer. If anything happen in your computer, then everything whatever you backup, that will be lost. Second, you should make multiple copies and store them in a separate place. So some important, if there is some important files, you have to make multiple copies. One copy keep in your hard disk, one copy keep in a CD drive, one copy keep in your pen drive. So if any other file will be destroyed or lost or any damage, then you can get from another copy of another files. So when you think of protecting files, you have to use password. So while you keeping a password, keep some following point regarding password length and complexity in mind to create a secure one. The first one is password length. Create a password that is at least 8 to 10 character length. So when you give a password for a protecting file, the length of the password should be 8 to 10 character, because the large number of characters will make it difficult for an attacker to crack the password. If you make small password, then the crackers can easily hack your password and can store your important files. So make it at least 8 to 10 characters, so it is not possible to crackers to break your password. However, keeping the password too long and complex may make it hard to remember. If you make hard password, if you make difficult password, it is difficult to learn it. Often happen that you can also forget your own password. Usually 10 character password should be sufficient secure. So if you use up to 8 to 10 character length password. Second one is password complexity. The second aspect is complexity. Preferable, a password should contain at least one character from each following group of restored. So when you give a password, don't give only numbers, don't give only alphabets, don't give only the special characters. So when you make a password, you can use letters, numbers, and some special characters. So when you create a password, use lowercase alphabet letter, uppercase alphabet letters, numbers, and a special character. So when you make a password, 4 things will be given. One is lowercase character, number 2 is uppercase character, number 3 number, number 4 special character. For example, if you make a password, you have to use, say, Alinda, Akash, you can give 1, 2, at the rate, so you give hash mark 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 9 character passwords. Here you can use capital letter, small letters, special character, and numbers. So, and when you make a certain password, keep it in mind, remember it, so you cannot forget your passwords. So some important points are there. The following should be avoided while creating a password. They are: number one, duplicate your username as a password. Duplicate some person use your name as a password. So avoid that one. Using your own name, a family member name, or a date of birth as password. You have to avoid this one. Don't use your name, your family name, your date of birth as a password. Third one is consecutive letter of the alphabet. Example, I, M, N, O, P, Q. Don't use the similar numbers, similar letters as a password. Okay. And you also remember some password to keep your data safe. That is, change your password at least once in every 6 months. So change your password. Don't keep a password for 1 year, 2 years, 3 months, 4 months. You can change your password after 4 to 6 months. So when you change your password, create a new one every time. So when you change your password, create a new one. Avoid writing down your password or sharing it with anyone. Don't share your password to anyone. Don't write your password anywhere so others can easily get your passwords. Next, avoid typing your password while someone is looking over your shoulder or someone else's computer. So whenever if anyone is standing inside of you, in front of you, or you're standing in the back, so don't use your password in that time. Otherwise, it will be copied from the other persons. Next, don't check the remember password options or stay sign in option or on a public computer. So don't save a password, don't remember your password options. You do not use your remember password options or stay sign in option in other computers. You can make your own computers, but don't use stay sign on a computer on your other computers. So these are the things which we remember in our mind while choosing a password for your backup files. Next, about the recovery tools. If the data is not backed up properly and is lost due to any reasons, it can recover using recovery software. So some happens if you forget a password, if the data is not backed up properly, in that cases we have to recover it. We can recover it by using a software, recovery software. So there are some few examples of data recovery software are RStudio Data Recovery, Restore Ultimate Data Recovery, R Unlimited, ISO Buster, Virtual Lab Data Recovery, and PC Inspector for recovery. These are the different recovery tool software. Okay. Next, we go for the hackers and crackers. Hackers and crackers. Hackers and hackers and crackers. Hacker is the term used for computer enthusiasts. That is, a person who enjoys learning programming language and computer system and can be often considered as an expert on the subject. Hacker means the term used for who use a computer, who loves the computer, who can use softwares and doing learning program language. They are known as hackers. Hacker is the term used to refer to an individual who gain unauthorized access to a computer system for the purpose of stealing and corrupting the data. Cracker means the persons who can break your password, who can steal your contents, who can enter your emails, enter your computer unauthorizedly. They are said to be the crackers. These are the functions of hacker and crackers. So next our point is information security provisions in e-commerce. E-commerce is the term used for buying and selling product over the internet. E-commerce, under e-commerce, e-shopping, e-banking, e-learning, everything will become another e-commerce. It's a term used for buying and selling product over the internet. The information security system in e-commerce should meet the following requirements. See, when you're going to buy any product from internet, from online, either buying or selling, there is some questions of securities. So when you use your credit card, debit card, or payment of internet banking, in these cases we have need some securities. So number one is privacy. Under privacy, no unauthorized person should be able to access your information. There is some privacy there. Under privacy, unauthorized persons cannot see your credit card numbers, debit card numbers, internet banking password, etc. Second thing is authentications of sender and recipient. Both the sender and the recipient must prove their identities to each other. To go for the any of products, to buy or selling products, we have to prove our identifications, both the sender and the recipient. Third one is integrity and non-repudiation. The information must not be tampered with, and there should be a proof that the information is intact. So the seller or the buyer should show their prove it that they cannot use your important information to other persons. So they use SSL. So both buying and selling product they use SSL. This is called secure socket layer. Is a protocol. It is inside computers. Protocol used for secure data transmissions across the network. It is an integrated part of most web browser and web servers. It plays a very important role in the e-commerce activity on the web. SSL make you the following. See, if you can check your computer, can check it either the particular website, particular shopping sites, they use what type of security. If they use SSL security, then it will secure. On the SSL security socket layer, your information cannot be tampered, the information cannot be goes to the other person. How the SSL is secured? They use some following things. Something is, the first one is private and public key encryptions. Privacy of information is handled by encryption. Encryption means to make the thing encoding. Encryption is the process of converting data into a code so that unauthorized user cannot use it. Decryption is a process of converting encrypted data into a human readable format. This method works by creating a set of two different keys called a key pair. See, here we can get two words. One is called encryption, other one is called decryptions. Encryption means to make information into code, decryptions to break the code and it convert into human readable form. So both of the encryption and decryption, they use two types of key. One is called private key, other one is called public key. Private key, only the owner knows the private key. And the private key, the owner who will be the owner of the sites or the companies, only he knows the private key. Public key, it is distributed to anyone who requests it. So under the encryption and decryption, they use two keys. One is called private key, other one is called public key. Second and third one is about the digital certificate. Digital certificate is a kind of digital code or credential that authenticates the identifier of the server. It is signed by an independent, recognized and mutually trusted third party to ensure its validity. The signer of the digital certificate is known as the certificate authority. If you buy something, they give them certificate. The certificate will be signed by the persons known as certificate authority. Some example of certificate authorities are VeriSign, Thauti, DigiCert, Komodo, Entrust, GlobalSign. Digital certificate typically include the following information. So, what information are stored in the digital certificate? The first one is in the digital certificate. Here you can get the name of the owner, its email address, and the URL of the web server using the certificate. Number two, the owner's public key. The public key can be used to encrypt sensitive information for the certificate holder. Third one is the name of the CA that issued the certificate. There you can get the name of the person, name of the CA who authorized who issued the certificate. Next, in the certificate we got one serial number. Third, in the certificate you can get the validity period. The validity period of the certificate, a start date and the end date. When the validity will start and when the validity will be ended. There you can get the validity period of the certificate. Last, the digital signature of the CA, so that any tamper with the contract is easily detected. So these are the following things which are stored in a digital certificate. Next we come for the IT and ICT. IT and ICT. IT and ICT. You see, IT, as you already know, stands for Information Technology, where ICT means Information Communication Technology. The three terms in ICT means the following. See, in the ICT you will get Information Communication Technology. The three terms have the different meanings. The first one is information, information, communication, and next one is ICT. So three terms are given in ICT: information, communication, and technology. Information, it refers to the meaning extract from the data provider. So what the data information they are giving, what data they will provide, that is come under the group of information. Communication, it refers to how the information is verified, distributed, and kept secure. Under communications, how the data is verified, distributed, and kept secure. Third one is, it refers to the format and tool used to gather, store, and communicate news. So under these things, how the data is stored, how the data will be kept, how the data will be communicated from one place to another computers. That is called the technology. Let's come for the difference between IT and ICT. Wait. So this is the difference between IT and ICT. So next students, so next class I will explain you the difference between IT and ICT, how the ICT are used in different purposes in the case of education, healthcare, etc. We will explain in the next class. Thank you.